Arch, where's the in-feed hopper?
This is it. Oh, yeah, this is it.
That's the in-feed hopper. Okay, so welcome back to episode 59. This is the week before the big install and final push up in Manchester. So this week we put the trommel together, work continues on the feeder hopper, and that is a big surprise to me, that is. I'll show you what I mean in a bit.
What we talked to you about. We are currently in the workshop. This is the Manchester project processing plant trommel. This is the doors. Steve and George are getting the doors on now. Hopefully by the end of the day today-ish, sort of start tomorrow, we will get a load of this panel work off, get it in the paint room. So we're going to paint some of the panel work first. That's going to come out. Frame is going to go in. Panel work can then go on the frame once it's dried. Whilst that's happening, the rest of the panel work can get painted. The drum can go on top once the bottom panel work's been put in, and then all the remaining panel work can go on top. So yeah, that is about it for now. Stay tuned, you'll see some more from Steve and George on this project. So this is the framework for conveyor 2. Connor has fabricated this now. All that remains on this is drilling the holes for the underguards on this side, flipping it over, marking up and drilling the holes for the panel work, for the panel work to sit on the other side. So Connor's about to get the underguards on here now, and then get the panel work on the top, and then start drilling. Once this is done, this will be ready to go through to paint. Bish bash bosh.
I am so sorry, I was way late last week and Adam wasn't here to coax me into doing an update, so I didn't do one. And this week's update it's only Monday, but I feel like I need to tell you stuff. So George won an order last week for a new service contract, which we're really happy about. So if you don't already know, we have got 2 full-time service engineers out on the road doing various contracts, but George won us a new contract with a new customer, completely different product set for us, but we're really happy to start that, and that is going to be starting very soon. So yeah, if you've got service contracts you want us to look at, and we kind of say a 50-70 mile radius of Northamptonshire, let us know. Contact sales number, Adam will put it up on the screen, and just give us a call and ask to speak to Georgina or George in sales. In other news, I've just gone through with Steve talking about his responsibilities as lead fabricator. We promoted him a couple of weeks ago, and we haven't really had much time because everyone's been really flying around busy, but I've just gone through his role and requirements just so he knows exactly what we expect of him, and so there's no ambiguity there. So it's really important that if you're given a role that you know what's expected all the time. And what else can I tell you? Gavin is away on a training course today with Melissa, so that's going to be interesting to see what their feedback. And Adam and I are going on a training course tomorrow, and that's all about social media for business. So we've done the TikTok one, which was good fun and quite interesting, and tomorrow is about social media. So just continually trying to improve all the things that we know, how we can keep growing as a business. So yeah, that's really good. Final piece of company news is Archie and I are interviewing for the engineering operatives this week. We had about 40 people apply before I stopped the advert. Quite a successful way of advertising it, although some people didn't read the brief about needing to be local. So whilst we didn't get many people from Bangladesh and Singapore and Canada this time, which believe me we've had previously, we did have people from out of county, which in our hours that we work is not always the best option. So we're interviewing 4 people on Thursday, and hopefully in the next episode we'll be able to tell you if any of those have been successful on a trial day. Keep you posted.
So
I've just told you that Adam and I are going off for the day, so we're going only an hour up the road to Birmingham to a course that we're booked onto. It's a course all about social media, so it's interesting, showing you this on social media, that we're going on a course all for that. So hopefully we'll learn some new tips and tricks. The course is about 100 people usually attend these at a time. It's really good. You get to meet other business owners, and sometimes it's not just about the course content, it's about talking to those other business owners and seeing how they do things. There might not be anybody else that does what we do in terms of engineering, manufacturing, but you can learn stuff from just chatting to people, just networking, that whole thing. So yeah, Adam and I are going to do that, and we might do some little snippets of what happens during our day. There's Adam. We are on our way back. We're on the M6. It's 4:30. Adam and I have had a good day. Social media for businesses was interesting. I think we know a fair bit about social media for businesses now. So our main platforms, if you follow the channel, is YouTube, obviously the weekly vlogs, which hopefully you already liked and subscribed to because you'll be watching this. Instagram is another popular one, and Facebook. More recently we've been doing quite a lot of Facebook adverts, which has been really, really good for us. So yeah, we've got those three main platforms, but there's also TikTok. So today during our lunch break, the course tutors encourage you to go out and create some content. So Adam and I, because we're up for a challenge, went off and we're taken up to the office upstairs in the building, and we did a silly little TikTok. So go and have a look at that. Go and show us some love on our silly trending TikTok that we did wrong. Don't tell us that we did it wrong. We know we did it wrong, but it's a bit of fun. So yeah, good day. Heading back now. We're going to be back about 5:45, so just before the workshop finishes, and hopefully we can tell you more about the other courses that the rest of the team are going on soon.
Whilst Adam and Andrea have been away, this is what we've been up to in the yard. So the trommel frame for the Manchester processing plant is painted. In there, drying off, ready for tomorrow. What else has happened today? We've got a load of other panel work out of the paint room, and then that is dry, ready to be fitted. Hello. Connor has fabricated the framework and panel work for conveyor 1. This is all sort of matching up nicely, fitting together. Steve and George over here are starting the hopper, so the infeed hopper. This is a big bit of kit, this is. So this is the sort of picture frame size of the hopper itself. Getting this together now. So yeah, we'll see some more of this later on.
So anybody who's a regular viewer of the channel will know that my car caused a few problems 2 or 3 months ago. And last week, and the week before to be fair, and that it's not been driving as it should be. Been a bit down on power. Anyway, last Friday, engine management light come on. Me and Andrew were away on the East Coast and called Land Rover out, sent one of their mobile guys out, come and had a look, and it looks like the EGR valve has now gone on my car. So, because obviously I do towing, they needed to supply a vehicle with a tow bar on it. The only 2 vehicles that they'd got available was one down in Chelmsford and one up in Derby, and I didn't particularly want to go to Chelmsford on Saturday morning to drop my car off, so I've managed to get it back. It's not driving bad, it's just down on performance really, I guess is what you would say. So I'm now on my way to Derby to drop my car off to pick another car up. So the saga continues with this car. I think there is a thing going on with DPFs and all sorts of emission related stuff on these Land Rover Discoveries. So yeah, let's go and see what car we've got. So back in the yard now. Let me show you what the courtesy car is.
So I got out for a few weeks whilst they've got my car in for repair. Now, Range Rover's a nice car, don't get me wrong, but me and Andrea are heading to Scotland next week to see some customers, and I am a stickler for first impressions. And turning up in a Range Rover when you're asking customers to spend money with you probably doesn't give the right first impression. So, yeah, interesting week, but yeah, nice car, but it just probably wouldn't be my first choice.
Now this morning, for an upcoming job, I've had to complete an online health and safety assessment. We've got some lads away this weekend for the same customer, and they've also had to do the same. And basically what the customer has said is, and they've made no bones about it, this is to relinquish any responsibility on them because they are a third party. The eventual customer is their customer. So in their eyes, they've taken advice from a health and safety point of view to relinquish any responsibility on them. They have to make sure that we know what we're doing from a health and safety point of view. And on the face of it, I haven't got a problem with that. So this morning, we've done the assessment, and according to them, the 4 reasons we do a risk assessment is legal, moral, financial, and because it's their policy. Doesn't say anywhere in there that it makes you safer at work, which genuinely surprised me because I thought a risk assessment was there to highlight the dangers in a job and what we could possibly do to mitigate any risks that we're exposed to as workers. And as I say, I am well in favour of that. As a company, we have our own external health and safety consultant. He comes around at least once a year and does an assessment of the workplace here at Brixworth, and any recommendations that he has got, we implement. We also do extensive training for our guys, whether it's health and safety, forklift driving, cherry pickers, abrasive wheels, you name it, everybody around here does it. So from a health and safety point of view, we do take it quite seriously. But I do have to ask the question, are we going a bit too far with health and safety? Now, I've said for some time, risk assessments they're a box ticking exercise from one point of view, and bear with me on this so you can understand all of it. For years we've been asked to do risk assessments before we even get to site, and my argument has always been that what happens if we get to site and we're working right next to a big hole, or there's big machines coming past, or there's people working above us? How can we possibly assess what the dangers are and the risks around where we're working without actually being on site? So interestingly, in this assessment they're now saying that, and this has never been asked before, even though I've said this in the past, that until you get there you don't know what the dangers are. They're now saying that you need to submit a risk assessment before you get there, and then when you get there you do a dynamic risk assessment, which makes total sense. You would assess the risks whilst you're there, but then you also have to ask yourself the question, well, why have you got to submit one in advance? I don't know. Maybe there's some health and safety people on here that can probably put me right on this, but you've also got the aspect that I know for a fact that certain sites that we've been to, they won't let you on site unless you've submitted a risk assessment. So we submit the risk assessment, and I know that they've not read it. I know that they don't read it. All they're interested in is that piece of paper. So if it does go wrong, they can just wave that piece of paper to say we're not responsible because we asked all the relevant questions and this is what they have provided. We've also had instances in the past where certain big companies have been a stickler for the paperwork, and as part of the work that they've asked us to do involves removing some components from a machine that weighed nearly 100 kilos. And when we've said, how do you expect us to do this? There's 2 guys on site, this component weighs, I think it's about 85 kilos, this component. How do we get in here to change this? And their answer was, you just need to get on with it. So on the one hand, you're submitting paperwork to say that you won't do anything dodgy and shady so that nobody gets hurt. And then on the other hand, they've got their piece of paper, so they say just get on with it. So I am all in favour of health and safety. The thought of anybody getting hurt on my watch sends chills through my body. I don't want to be in that position at all. And we have got a very good health and safety track record. But sometimes I wonder if health and safety is fit for purpose. And I think there's a huge amount that we do as employees that is based on experience. And I know that you can't get experience unless you actually do the job. But we do work in a safe practice. There's certain things that we do around here that everybody knows exactly how it works. We've worked out the safest way to do it. I know somebody made some comment in the comments the other day about how we were lifting things with forklifts, using more than one forklift. We've been doing this for a long time, and everybody knows there's certain rules and regulations we have when we're doing tandem lifts with forklifts around here, or when we're loading lorries. Everybody knows to do not walk under a suspended load. We know that we always have a banksman when we're moving things, and people know certain rules and regulations when we've got two forklifts moving together. So, and it's well rehearsed. You know, we know exactly what we're doing around here, and the people involved in it have all been trained. We have a chat before we do it. We talk about the routes that we're going to take. We always have a leader and a follower. And we have one person that's, if you're doing two lifts with two machines, you always have the one person that sets the pace and the other one follows, and we always have a banksman that's also telling people what to do as well. So things like that are well rehearsed around here. But my point is, health and safety, is it going too far now? The thing is with the health and safety industry, and I've said this for some time, no health and safety advisor wants to go around to a company and say, you're absolutely fine, everything you're doing is perfect, because then the owners might look at it and go, well, we don't need you. If we're perfect, we don't need health and safety representation. So I do think that it is an industry that constantly has to keep on developing and coming up, and you have to question sometimes whether it is actually necessary to go as far as they're going now.
So this is the Manchester project, processing plant trommel in assembly now. So been painting it outside, lovely weather, so myself and Rob decided we'll do it outside. Give us more space to work, we're not in the way of a noisy workshop, and Adam can film without having to turn the radio off. So it's all for you, Adam. Yeah, the wheels are on here now, so these are slightly different to what we normally do. We normally have a keyway shaft and a bearing either side. This time it is an internal bearing. There's a grease nipple on the inside, so for easy access of greasing. Don't think there's much else to these really. We've got a clamping part each side, adjusters to change the angle and the sort of height of the machine, or the drum within the machine. So you got the four main wheels, fifth wheel will go on in a minute. Myself and Rob are going to get a load of the lower panel work on, get the drum in, chain gear on, motor on, chain itself on. That's what we're aiming for today, and hopefully a couple little bits afterwards. But yeah, don't know what else to show. These are quite cool. So you may or may not have seen in some of our other episodes these here. So all these little silver parts sticking out, they are what we call cage nuts or captive nuts. So traditionally we would have welded on the nuts in the back here, which is quite time consuming, and if you are ever on site and cross thread them or they snap, you are what's the best way of putting it? You're buggered, because you don't want to have to get a welder out and weld on a singular nut. So what we've decided is the best way to do, most efficient for us in the workshop, and then again on site for customers' benefit, we've got these cage nuts. So they are a simple squeeze in and squeeze out job. So if one did snap or anything like that, very easily replaceable. So George, our CAD design engineer, has put all these square holes where all the panel work bolts on. So whenever you see any of the square holes, that is what it's for. So it's not for square bolts or anything like that. It is for the cage nuts which bolt in. And I'll show you a little bit more about them in a sec. So this is what they look like outside of a machine. So we get different thickness ones. So this is an M10, so that is the size of the hole there, that fits an M10 bolt. And then this is for 5mm material. So that distance there is suited for 5mm. We have M10 5mm, M10 3mm, so for thinner. and then M12 5mm as well. So the way we would take these in and out, I'll show you on this one. Putting them in and out, you can just put a little pry bar, or screwdriver, which I use a little pry bar, just to pull it out like that, and then putting it back in, if you ever needed to. It's just a little pry bar back on the other side. If I can get it right, pushing it down, and then that's it, bolt changed. So that is 5-10 seconds as opposed to probably upwards of 5-10 minutes just to get a welder up to weld a nut back on the back. So efficiencies all around on this. We've had this for a little while, so if you've got any of our E21Cs, chances are you'll have some of these. Any of our other machines, yeah, most of them have them nowadays, so we do keep a stock of these. The van always has some on stock, so if we ever go to site and do any repair work, we've got them. So E21, Connor is doing the final part of assembly for this. So this has previously been fully assembled, as we call it, but now it has been sold to a customer by Georgina in the office. They have chosen a 35mm top and a 15mm bottom mesh, but we can show you underneath, Adam, the 15mm mesh is different to how they normally are. So there's one in here, but we'll show you this one for demonstration purposes. So this here, normally our meshes are 15mm squares the whole way along it, but this one has 15mm squares with a long strip. I can't tell you the measurement of how long said strip it is. We might say on here, to be fair, 100mm, I think that is. Yeah, so 100mm with a couple of 15mm squares. And this is supposedly, and what we found, is better for cleaning the meshes. So there's less small holes to get clogged up. It still gives you the same 15mm at the bottom, but it doesn't get clogged up quite as much. So depending on your material, this may be better for you. If you're unsure about what you need, contact the office, here or here, and then one of our lovely office team will guide you in the right direction. So this is the feeder hopper for the Manchester project. George is here welding it behind me. But yeah, this is the side. George and Steve are working on this now. Steve's just gone, but he's prepping over there in the other side of the bay. So yeah, they're working together to try and get this done. And it's looking good so far, looking very good. I think the plan is to get the sides made up, connected to the bottom bit, the top bit, sorry, and then get all the panel work in there, just sort of fit the box section itself. So yeah, some more of that very soon. Just going to take you over to the cutting room now. So we've got a load of stock material out here, some folded, some just come in. So we've got 2 more sight banks that will be coming through the workshop in the next few weeks. So when Colin's back from holiday, in sunny Spain at the minute, that will be one of the projects he's getting on with. So there's a few projects sort of in the prior to this before it. Coming through to here, Rob has just taken off of the cultivar some of the parts for Henry. So these are all 10mm. These are the bits that I was on about earlier. I don't know if the audio captured. So the audio didn't capture, so I'll explain it again. What we were able to do with this is we were able to program this program. How long was it, Rob? 2 hours, give or take. Rob, 2 hours for this program, give or take. Yeah, so it's about 2 hours from start to finish for this program. And what that allowed us to do was Rob was able to press go at the start of the day, so 6:15, 6:30, whatever it was, and then come back to it at 8:15, 8:30. So that allows for 2 hours worth of Rob's work to be him actually manually doing something, moving spanners, moving nuts and bolts, start assembling things, welding, whatever it is, as well as 2 hours of production on the CNC plasma cutter. So that is one of the many great ways that the CNC plasma cutter is amazing for us. So it's not completely unsupervised. We do come in and check it every now and then. Normally Colin is in here either on the bandsaw or is machining not far away, that he does check on it more regularly. But all the e-stops and safety mechanisms are in place on the machine, so if it does have any issues, nothing can go wrong. No one's at risk with leaving on its own. So yeah, these are all done. And then there's another 4mm program for Henry as well. So Rob's just getting some welding wire that's been delivered into the stores, and then he's going to load that up. So this is the bed of the plasma cutter. It's very full at the minute. However, it only looks full. It's not very, very full. So what we've done here, when we first got the machine, Colin had the great, I believe it was Colin, had the great idea. So we've got some little mesh baskets underneath this. So once we just clean off all of this material on the top, we can then lift out the baskets and just put that straight into the metal skip. That saves having to take all the slats out and scraping it up. That's predominantly on this end. So you can see this end has got a lot more material sat underneath it. Now these slats are certainly towards the end of their life cycle with us. I think we've replaced this a few times now. So they're 4mm, little V's the whole way along it. So within the next week or so, we'll probably get some more material in to cut these new slots, or new slats, sorry, and then replace them as soon as we can.
Okay, so back in the yard this afternoon, just come for a little wander around. First time I've walked around the yard this week. It's Wednesday now, Wednesday afternoon. First time I've come and had a look. We've got a lot of checker plate here, which I can't think what that's for. There's a lot of material sat in the yard here. I think we've got some underguards for conveyors over there. We've got 3 belts over there, which are for the Manchester project. Not sure what all of this material. Some rollers over there for, I'm assuming, the infeed hopper. And Archie, I think, has started on the infeed hoppers. Let's go and have a look in the workshop at the infeed hopper. Arch, where's the infeed hopper?
This is it. Oh, wait. Yeah, this is it.
That's the infeed hopper.
That's the start.
Which bit's that then?
This is the widest bit. So this is the underguard top bit.
Where's the drawing?
Steve, where's your...
So what bit's that then?
Well, that big frame goes around there. That's the...
So that's the top of the hopper?
Yeah, 4.9 by 2.8. That's what that is. And then that sits 1,400 off the ground, plus probably another nearly 2 meters.
I was expecting like there. I was expecting that.
You've got a fluffy size hopper.
It just looks massive.
Ask George how many cubic meters it is.
George, how many cubic meters is it? 9 cubic meters. What did the customer want?
They wanted 9, I heard.
I thought it was more like 5 or 6. Anyway, it looks as though we're building a really massive hopper for this, which on the CAD design, it actually doesn't look as big as this, but in reality, it looks massive. So this could be interesting. You get this done for the end of next week?
Yeah.
Yeah? You confident, Steve?
100%. Tomorrow's
Oh, 100%.
on holiday next week.
Steve's on holiday next week.
I am.
You can go when this is done, Steve, all right?
Done by tomorrow.
Yeah, I'll ring your missus. It'll be done tomorrow. Anyway, looks like we're building a really big hopper, much bigger than I expected. So further down the workshop, we've got a load of channel cut. That's going to be the actual chassis for the conveyor underneath. And Connor is just starting to weld that up. So you've got Connor doing the chassis underneath, and then you've got Steve and George, they're making the hopper to go on the top.
That's the conveyor.
And that's the
framework, really.
That's the framework that they're doing. So all this channel here in this drawing is all of that lot down there, which Connor's going to put together, and this is the chassis that the hopper over there sits on.
So there's the panel work on this machine now, on the frame for it now at least. Reason being, you cannot get this panel work in without putting the, we can't get the panel work in once the drum is in. So these are all bolted on into the cage you've just seen. And yeah, Jamie and Rob are over there behind me. They are about to move the drum closer and we're about to lift this in. So once that's in, we'll get you some more footage. So, drum is now in. You would have seen me talking about Rob and Jamie putting this in. So that didn't happen in the end. We tried to, but we said in theory it's possible. However, we didn't feel it was safe enough for us to lift it up that high, drive forwards in the backyard and lower it down. So we decided we'll wait. So in the office they called Larry Hampson at Hampson's Haulage. They are based in the village sort of next to us pretty much. I think it was literally at 4 o'clock last night. 6 o'clock last night a truck was here, and then at 7 a.m. this morning an operator was here to operate the crane and lift this in. So it literally took about 20 minutes maybe tops to actually lift it in. However, that is well worth it. Instead of causing issues, we don't want to damage machinery, we don't want people to get injured, we don't want people to think they're going to get injured either. So having the ability to have such a good relationship with the local company is great. So they do a lot of our stuff, always been very good to us. So yeah, drum is now in. Not much has changed on this though, to be fair, all day. Can we talk about the interviews? Yeah, well, let's talk about the interviews. I've been interviewing with Andrew today for another role. So yeah, you would have seen the job advert put out, so that's fine. Yeah, so we've been interviewing today, so I've not been out here at all really. It's just after lunch. Jamie's been painting. The other lads have been doing some more stuff, which I'll show you in a minute. Rob's been out on site. So yeah, this has been a bit of a standstill, unfortunately. I'm going to get back on it in a minute. I've just got some drawings from George for something else. Yeah, that's pretty much it, to be honest. Bit of a shame we've not got more done, but we're still on track. We're still happy that we're going to get stuff done in time. So as I said, Jamie's got some more panels painted in there, and he will be getting more in very soon. So I'm just taking you into the main workshop where Connor is getting on with, I think he's finishing off the legs for the feed hopper on the Manchester processing plant. Yeah, he's just cleaning them up now. So we'll take you in there and probably get a word from him about the legs. Hello Connor. I don't want you to talk about your legs.
These are both the legs for the infeed. This is practically them done now. They're fully welded, just a bit of cleaning up. And then if you come hither, I've got my other channel. Pretty simple. All that's left to do is put 2 bits of channel to connect the legs together, and then number 7, as you saw down there, I have to drill a lot of holes in, which you will see here. That will be number 7, and that will be number 8.
So, main workshop, other end of Connor. Steve and George are here with the feed hopper. So this is now flipped up the right way. This is how it's going to be in operation. So they are currently just getting all these panels in. So these are cut into smallish panels. That is due to the fact that we can't fold full lengths, and sort of sheet sizes determine the fact that it wouldn't fit anyway. So this is as big as we can get. So yeah, Steve and George are working on getting this all together now. I think the plan is by tonight we want it all together at least, stitched together so that it's safe to work on Monday. Steve's on holiday in Greece next week, so it will be probably myself or Rob taking over in his place to help George get along. But yeah, that's it. It's to be honest, in my opinion, it's looking a little bit smaller now. It's flipped over. Now we've flipped it over, so the panels are in. It does look pretty normal. So yeah, so far everything's fitting up pretty well. Yeah, we'll see more about this soon.
Okay, few changes this week. I'm no longer surrounded by 5 women in the office. 2 of them have gone downstairs, which always was the original plan. 2 of them have gone downstairs, so Alicia and Lauren have gone downstairs. So Adam and George's piece has been shattered downstairs. The bromance may be broken up, I'm not sure. Adam's grinning like a Cheshire cat and he's nodding his head, because they're going to have to tone down what they chat about downstairs now, because there's other people in the building. So there's been a few changes. That always was the plan, was that operations would go downstairs and sales and finance would stay upstairs. So that has happened this week. It's actually A bit different feel in the office this week. We've got 2 empty desks over there now. So yeah, a little bit of a change in the office this week. Anyway, fun fact goes back to my childhood a little bit. Now, the Rally Chopper was an iconic bike in, was it the 70s and 80s, Adam? Have you done this bit of research? There's no dates on this, what you've given me. Oh, hang on. Released in 1969. I hadn't read it properly. Okay, now, during my childhood, Rally Choppers were about, and they were the nuts. It sort of missed me because I was probably at the back end of it and that, but they were an iconic push bike of my childhood. So, released in 1969, designed in Nottingham. Rumour has it, a relative of David D&J. So the styling was influenced by American muscle cars and chopper bikes, which it was, with the big ape hanger sort of handlebars, but it also had a gear shift between your legs, and you could change gear, which was really cool. But it says here, the gear stick became infamous for safety issues and was eventually banned. So obviously some people had broke a little bit hard, and it had gone where you can imagine where. So designer Alan Oakley sketched the concept on an envelope during a flight after visiting the US. So there you go. Rally Chopper, inspired by American bikes and cars, designed in 1969 by a guy called Alan Oakley from Nottingham. So that's it for this week. Like, subscribe, all the usual stuff. Next week I am on a 3-day road trip around Scotland seeing customers. So I'll take you with me on that journey. Back in the workshop, we're going to be putting the finishing touches on the trommel, the finishing touches on the feeder hopper, and getting everything buttoned up, ready to go the following week, because the following week is the big week, one of the final big pushes to get everything up and running in Manchester. So catch us next week.
He was filming that.
Your mum still dressed you in the morning?
That's H&M.
I don't ask, Mel.
You're amazing.
It's like RuPaul's Drag Race, isn't it?
You warm?
Yeah.
Are you okay?
Yeah.
Are you okay, Hans?
Are you recording?